Greetings, YouTubers and live videoers. It's me, Wayman29, and I knew it was coming, and I knew I figured I would have to do it at some point. Um, got a PM. So, what is your defense of Christianity? Since you're a Christian, you come on and talk smack and rip the thing apart on certain videos. How do you put it all back together? So, guess I'm gonna have to do it, and this is my humble opinion and the conclusion that I personally came to on the reasons why I would have to be Christian, or I happen to be Christian. First of all, I have to apologize to Arben, Perry Mitch 777, in her video reply FAO Perry Mitch 777. Is pretty stubborn, so I definitely had to put her in my favorites because she totally told you off, and I thought it was kind of humorous, and at the same time, I need to thank you for whatever you did. I didn't get time to see your video. Whatever you did to provoke her and push her into doing that. I believe that it was at that point she came to some kind of conclusion about herself, which was very interesting indeed. So, good job, Perry Mitch 777 and Arben. Give a shout out to Goat. Goat, glad I found you. You're a genius. I like your ideas on Bible stuff, and it's very refreshing to find somebody on here who I'm able to a like-minded person on here that I'm able to identify with in some way. Even though we'll probably maybe clash later at some point, but hopefully not. But any rate, it's just an exchange of ideas, and it's great, and I would recommend people to watch Goat. He has a lot going on there, and stuff that I'm interested in. So, good job, Goat. I want to start off by saying, first of all, I'm a human being that probably just happened to be Christian. And I'm inclined to be a Christian because I grew up in a fundamentalist family. My mother's side ministers. My father's side, my grandfather was very religious, and my sister is a missionary in the Cayman Islands. So I've been around it all my life. The hardcore conservative Bible inerrancy Christian section of that. And I had to make some kind of decisions on what I should keep and what I shouldn't. And I go back to thinking about the core of it. What Jesus said, love God and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the core of it. But the issue is, you could do that and be almost any religion. And the problem is, people mistake the experience for the actual thing. They mistake the biblical text for the actual definition of the spiritual experience they're trying to. In Zen, I gotta use this example because it best explains what I'm trying to say. In Zen, they say it's a finger pointing to the moon, and mistaking the fingertip for the moon. So we got to see past that. We got to see past the ideas of the biblical text. got to see past the all the events that people run around try to prove as fact, because they're not at all important. And you can be a Christian or a Muslim or any religion by coming to the conclusions that explain why you're here, what you're doing here on earth, how you contribute to your society, and what you will pass on after you leave. And mine just happens to be Christianity. What's interesting is I found out through the years, I haven't lived all that long, I'm only 30 and I'm still finding out stuff, but it gets right down to it is the quest for truth. And things change on that pathway. And religion, whatever belief you are, for me it's Christianity. Christianity is like a relationship. You take the good with the bad. So you're going to marry a partner, or you live with a partner, you want to get to know them, spouse or partner. You not only want to know the good things about them and highlight the good points all the time, you want to know the smack about them. So you might call up one of their exes, say, hey, what's the issue with this person? And deal with those issues. Any way possible. You might accept it or you might not. And the choice is ultimately up to the individual person. However, emotions, experiences, feelings of bliss does not and should not substitute for the actual quest, and should not distract from the actual quest of finding truth. That would cover Buddhists, that would cover anybody who is on a journey in the quest for truth. They should not be distracted by the experiences and feelings and ideas. They should keep going, because it's more than all that. It's more. It's that and more. And as you make the progression, you realize how ridiculous some people can be in trying to prove everything all the time that doesn't necessarily need to be proven. What I'm getting at is Job could have been an atheist and come to the same conclusion sitting there in the dust pile scratching his sores with ceramic shards. He could come to the same conclusion. Why am I suffering? Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. And, obviously the biblical text answers with Yahweh. Oh man, I will ask a question and you will answer me. And one of the greatest speeches by Yahweh out of the whirlwind, which comes from a Jewish text, totally puts it together. One aspect of it. There are many explanations for that suffering in the biblical text, answered many different ways, and there's no one way of answering it, and it's not even answered to this day. Also, ideas from the Bhagavad Gita, sparring with brothers and sisters and fathers and grandfathers, going out into the middle of the battle and looking at both lines and seeing friends and family there, is exactly what Jesus meant by pitting child against parent, mother against daughter, father against son. Because you possess these kinds of ideas that may be controversial, and you're pulled out into the middle of the battle line, and you look both ways, and you realize that people don't think the way you do, and you question about the way you think, and if you should continue believing that way and in the battle. So that text attempts at answering that issue. However, one of the best cases that personally I have read for Christianity are the Confessions of Augustine. He goes through it's one of the most passionately written um, defense. Well, not I don't know if it's defenses, but ideas on how he became to be Christian and why he thinks the way he does. Also, another person who I love reading is Meister Eckhart, the man from whom God hid nothing. He was excommunicated by the Catholic Church for his ideas. However, he really put it together, and I think for me personally, it's the cosmic Christ. It's not about somebody living inside me and somebody that I have to pattern my life after. It's more about what's beyond that. It's more about how can I view the world in a way that would be beneficial. How can I view the world in a way that would allow me to pass on my ideas and preserve my ideas in society, and to preserve my group, and hopefully, and maybe possibly in some way, people like to think that they would be rewarded for such efforts, and that's okay also. So, I guess as a defense, it might be pretty poor, but at any rate, that's some of my views on why I'm Christian. If I lived in India, I might be Hindu or Buddhist. However, I don't know if it's a relationship with the idea. Talking about Paul should the experience changed his life. However, he went and did something past that. Talks about he did something past that. He didn't stop at the experience. He didn't write a book, Embracing the Light, or something like that, where the experience itself ended up overcoming what he was trying to tell people. And I believe that, Paul was trying to make some kind of progression, just like any religious text and explanations are trying to make some kind of progression. Either they're talking with themselves or trying to explain it with other people. Another hard thing is, just to throw this in, when you have a experience that seems rather strange, like the Apostle Paul and like some of the religions I talked about before, it's kind of like a bug going outside a beach ball and seeing all this stuff, and then he comes back in the hole and he tries telling all the other bugs about what was out there, and none of the other bugs were never out there, so they have no idea. And that's the way it is on these kinds of experiences. So I don't know, I guess I just am a human being who just happened to be Christian. Hopefully I'll be rewarded in the afterlife, and hopefully I can do some good in society, helping my neighbor, and loving God, Yahweh, Allah, whoever it is, and possibly, I don't know, we'll see. And however, I'm going to keep going on the journey, keep reading and keep discovering things. Yahoo's been awesome because it opened up a lot of other ideas and possibilities, and you take them all, write down like a bottle of pills, and hope you wake up. Okay, YouTube, I know I'm going to get a lot of smack for this. Poor Arben is going to be saying you spent 14 minutes and 39 seconds talking about absolutely nothing. But there it is. Have a good day.